Hey, what's up, y'all? Dave here, Wild Hearts Farm, where we're working to live a more sustainable life connected to nature and all that God has provided for us. So, if you all have been following along, you know that we recently moved our goats from their permanent pasture, which is over here where the horses are, to a temporary pasture, just to help them clear some land, to get an idea of, how long it may take for them to really mow down the area and then move them on, because we want to get into some rotational grazing. Now, our idea was not to keep them over here permanently, but move them back into their permanent pasture that's with the horses. But we had something pretty devastating happen the other day. So one of our horses, after we moved these goats, got caught up in the goat fencing. So we had some permanent fencing over there. It's a cattle fencing. He got one of his legs stuck in there. Didn't freak out, but ended up buckling and falling down and honestly really hurting himself. So it's not the first time it happened. And we just saw that as a sign that maybe we need to separate the goats from the horses and move them elsewhere. So what I'm gonna do today is actually, we're setting camp right here in this area. And what we're gonna do is, we're in this pasture over here on our property. I'm gonna put a permanent area for them to kind of call home base. I'm gonna set this up in a way to where we can use our electric fencing that we set up over here to build off of each side, creating 5 or 6 paddocks that they can now rotationally graze through. So I just did a quick video on how quickly they actually mowed this area down. It was probably 7 or 8 days, just a little over a week and a half. Hey, buddy. And so what I'm thinking is, we have their main area. We have 5 or 6 paddocks that they can rotate them through. And by the time we get them through all the rest of them, the main paddock should kind of grown back to where they can kind of begin the process all over again. Now, there are a lot of really beneficial reasons why you want to rotationally graze your goats. We weren't doing it, and we're going to take care of some of those benefits. Yeah. So, and some of those benefits are, so number one, just healthier goats. While you rotate your goats, the first thing it's going to do is reduce the internal parasite loads of the goats by basically moving them before the worm larvae really take hold, which is going to make for healthier, happier goats. Number two is just overall pasture health. When you give different paddocks times to sort of rest and regrow, it's just better for the health of your pasture, as well as developing more biodiversity. You have the the manure and everything from the goats, adding some good organic compound to it. So really going to improve the overall pasture health by rotating them around and giving the areas to rest. And then it's helping out on the pocketbook a little bit. They always have fresh green grass for them to graze on. You're not going to have to spend a lot of money on hay or other minerals as well. The more diverse the pasture becomes, the more they'll be able to get everything they need just straight from the paddocks that we rotate them in. So those are just some of the benefits of rotationally grazing your goats or your sheep or your pigs or whatever you're gonna rotationally graze. And so what I'm gonna do right now is, I'm going to start building their permanent enclosure, their permanent fencing out here around the electric netting, and get everything laid out, set up so they have their permanent base station. And then we're going to start this process and just see how well this works to improve our pasture. So I'm hoping this will be the last move. But I will tell you, these guys are loving it because they have all this extra pasture for them to roam around in and chow down on them. So, all right, y'all, here we go. All right, so here we go. I started off by laying out the entire area that I want to enclose with this permanent fencing. I'm going to start in the front here. I'm going to pound in my 2 corner posts and make sure they are 4 feet high, because that is the height of the fencing that I have. After my 2 posts are set, I'm going to go ahead and take my measuring tape, and I'm going to measure out every 8 feet for those other posts. Now, this dimensions of this enclosure are going to be 64 by 56. After I get this all laid out, I'm going to take my twine and I'm going to stretch it from both those posts to give a nice straight line. I want everything as even and straight as I possibly can. Yeah, and then just repeating this for all four sides. It goes a lot quicker once you get that first one knocked out. So because both of the back corners are going to be access to the other outer pastures, I'm gonna set it up in the corners a little differently and put it at a little bit of an angle as just a way to optimize access to all 5 paddocks that we're going to create using our electric netting. And now it is off to my materials yard. So I have got a couple rolls of this fencing and some smaller sections that are going to be easier to handle and keep me from having to cut up the larger sections that I think will be perfect for this project. So um, thank God I actually labeled this stuff so I know what sizes I actually have. All right, so a pair of pliers, whatever you call this tool, and some T-post fasteners are all I'm going to need to go ahead and get this fencing up. Not sure what you call this tool, but it sure does come in handy. And if you know the name of this tool, go ahead and add it in the comments. All right, I got the backside finished pretty quickly. Now it's on to the other 2 sides and the front. Because this is going to be their permanent enclosure, I'm actually going to put like a nice gate here in the front. And I found these really cool T-post brackets that are going to help me out with that. Stay tuned to see what that looks like. All right, so I've got all of the fencing set up and the goats can no longer escape. So I'm going to go ahead and pull down their electric netting fencing and I'm going to move that to that back pasture to give them this area to graze. So this electric netting from Premier One Supplies is actually super easy to set up and then tear back down and just move around. I've done a lot of really good videos on this on our channel, so if you head over there, you can check some of those out. So I made this permanent gate with some leftover cedar planks, and I'll tell you what, those T-post brackets really helped out. It's super sturdy, and it's really easy just to get in and out of and gain access to this enclosure. All right, y'all. I'm all done, and I'm super stoked at how this all worked out. I think this is going to be their new permanent enclosure, and I hope to God I don't have to move them again because man, it's just such hard work. But you know, for those benefits that I laid out, the benefits on rotational grazing, I think this is going to be really great for our little homestead here. And back in this back pasture, we have got some pigs coming. So we're going to be rotationally grazing some pigs on pasture as well. That's coming up. And I got a grant. I got all of the equipment paid for to start this process of rotationally grazing pasture pigs. So thank you all for subscribing. That next video coming up is going to be about how I got that all paid for. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But again, for all you who have been subscribing and following along, thank you all so much. For those who haven't, hit that subscribe button and join us in building Wild Hearts Farm. It has been quite the adventure. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in, and God bless. Have an awesome, blessed day. Well, I was just gonna do my my closure, but it looks like somebody's head got stuck. Of course, you have an entire field back there to eat from. What are you doing? Unbelievable. I gave you all this pasture so you don't want to get this stuff. Damn it. Here we go. My word.